Hello, my name is Matthew Bates. I am currently a senior at Columbia College in Missouri, and we'll be talking today about the biblical aspect of believing. We'll be looking at what believing is, how does one use believing, and what is the point of believing. I've actually been going to church since I was very little. I started teaching when I was 12. I've taken numerous classes in the Bible, going from a foundational class to an advanced class, learning about family orientation in the Bible, what the first century church was in Acts. So I've been doing numerous courses on biblical research. I actually also spent 2 years at the Wayne International out in Ohio. I served there on staff. So we're going to be looking at what is believing for our first topic. And I have a verse. It's Mark 11:23, and it says, "For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but believes those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith." And I like this verse because it has that figure of speech about, saying to a mountain, "Be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea." You can't physically remove a mountain and cast it into the sea unless you spend years with a bulldozer. But it's just that application of being able to say that and say removing that mountain and being thou cast into the sea. Today we talk about trials that we face as being mountains, coming up to the mountain and being like, oh, getting through that. Like, those are our little mountains. Even Miley Cyrus in her one song talks about climbing a mountain to overcome adversity. But Merriam-Webster, the dictionary, states that believing is to have a firm conviction as to the goodness, efficiency, or ability of something. Strong's, which is a Greek concordance, it takes the Greek words in the Bible and gives them meaning, and from that they have pisteo, which is the Greek word, is to believe, put one's faith in trust, with an implication that actions based on that trust must follow. And also Bullinger, it's a Greek lexicon and concordance, says to be persuaded, to rely upon, and to trust. So that's what believing is. Believing is used a lot in sports. You think about sports. A couple of years ago, it was the Patriots versus the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. And there's always this one last interception. It's called the play of the game. It comes down and they throw it instead of running it in. Well, the Seahawks threw that pass and that guy picked that one guy off. But he had said that earlier he had visualized himself making that interception. He dreamed about it the day before, and all day he thought about making that interception. Well, that's believing. He saw that believing through to the end of the play. And what believing is in The Bible Tells Me So by Victor Paul Werwell. He takes believing and how to apply believing, and he talks about it as a camera. Now, old cameras, they have apertures and focus times. So they have a shutter speed, and he goes and tells you, like, believing isn't just instantaneous. All believing has a type of timeline or a shutter speed that lets light in. And he takes this analogy with the camera to talk about believing. Every picture takes a certain amount of light time to get in. So same with believing. It takes a certain amount of time for that believing to actually have it come to pass. You don't become a national football player overnight. You have to spend years of playing football all through your high school, through your college. You have to constantly work out. It's a day-to-day thing to become a football player. Well, believing also has negative aspects to it. You always follow those people around who are always negative. They lose their job. They get hurt all the time. There's people in the world who always are like that. But there's also that negative implication. What you think is what you believe. He also states that in that book. So you have the point of believing. They came out with a book. Yes, it was like about 5-6 years ago. It's called The Secret. And that was like how your mindset goes and translates into actuality in your life. So the world actually knows the whole point of believing, but didn't know that it actually traces back to biblical aspects, where believing is very biblical rather than they just came out with the study of how your mind translates into actuality in your life. Like your thoughts being positive can have positive results, or your thoughts being negative can have negative results. So the point of believing is that you want those actions to translate into your life. So you want to have that mental focus, and that talks about removing mountains. You can do that in your own life, like that figure of speech. Whether it's like you have your car break down, you can fix it. Whether you want that job promotion, you have that believing action to work towards that goal. So each and every step is believing. It said in that definition of Strong's that believing is you have the intent or action that something will result out of it. So that's all of believing, and that's what I had to share.